One has to understand that when our civilization has grown so much outside like a tree, we must also find out the roots. Because we have not tried to do that, all these problems are coming up in the whole world. You'll be surprised that the roots are in India, and we have the knowledge. We have had it from ancient times. Of course, I must say about it, everybody knew, Muhammad Sahib knew about it, Jesus knew about it, Buddha knew about it, Mahavira knew about it, all of them knew about it. But they didn't find people who were able to receive it. One must have ability to receive it. And it is already described that when this Kali Yuga will come, when these modern times will come, people will be going into a condition called a sabhrant, means in a condition of illusion and confusion, which is true. Because it is Indian, we should not discard it. It's wrong. We should be fair to ourselves, to our country, and to our heritage. And that is what today, when we are having all kinds of confusions, all kinds of relative ideas, one has to find out the absolute. And that is the time we are going to find out, because we'll be so much pressed by all the confusion, by all the illusions, by all kinds of problems. All the theories will be failing, and we'll start thinking about it. I would say, like, now you have seen how in Russia it's breaking out. But also democratic countries have problems, tremendous problems. I must say I must have traveled much more widely than any one of you, and I've seen them thoroughly, and I've got disciples from there, lots of them, and I know the problems they face. So democracy has the biggest problem is that it is money-oriented. Communism is not money-oriented, but power-oriented, so it has shown its teeth. But money orientation has to have all kinds of problems of money orientation. So corruption has to come with democracy, can't help it. Of course, it should be very limited, but there is no democratic country I know of which hasn't got corruption yet. So there's something wrong in that field also. So now we have to find out something absolute. Now the roots are within human beings. The roots are within us. They are not without. In the Bible is described tree of life. But Christ was given only 4 years to live. Actually, publicly he lived only for 4 years. 4 years is not a time when you can talk about anything. I was in London for 4 years battling with 7 hippies. For 7 years I couldn't do anything to them. So whatever was possible, he said it. He said you have to be born again. That doesn't mean that you should take a certificate, I'm born again. It doesn't mean that. It's something happening. Even in any Indian scripture is written, you must get your self-realization, Atma Sakshatkar. There is no scripture which has not talked about it. But to what extent they have gone, to what details they have gone, is a different point, for which I have to cover up all that and I have to show you. So the second part of it is that there is a force called Kundalini in our triangular bone. This triangular bone is called as sacrum. Now sacrum is a Latin word and it means sacred. That means the Greeks knew there's a sacred bone within us. We cannot forget all our histories, everything, just to become very modern. We cannot hang in the air. Sacred bone. And in some people where there is obstruction, you can even see this bone pulsating just like heart. Now there are at least 5-6 doctors here, they have all seen it. When you are raising the Kundalini, you might find in some people this bone pulsating just like heart. You can see with your own eyes. And in some people you can even see the rising of the Kundalini clearly, because if there's obstruction. But if there is no obstruction in a personality, if it's a very balanced personality, then the Kundalini rises like a jet. I am myself surprised at the happenings that are happening. So there are qualities and capabilities. There are some people for whom I would say, there's one gentleman, I'm working on him for the last 6 years, I couldn't get him realization, though he's breaking my head for that. 6 years I could not. And he has funny ideas. I think he doesn't want to get married, he doesn't want to have children, he doesn't want this, he doesn't want that. So I said, you won't even have Kundalini awakening. You have to be a normal person. If you are a normal person, then the Kundalini rises. If you are abnormal. Now, in this we have got 3 types of people, I mean in general, as they say. There are some people whom we call as left-sided. Means the people who are more emotional. But they can go further. They can go to such a limit that they can become absolutely emotional and they can become all the time crying, weeping, that type of people. Now this type of people are created by a center or created by a center or supported or fed or nourished by a channel, we can say, which is called as Ida Nadi. It's the moon. Just see you see a lunatic is called as Luna. You see from Luna. Luna means moon. That means they knew about it. Otherwise, why did they call him lunatic? Such people can become lunatic. They can even become epileptic. All these diseases, left-sided psychological diseases, depression, all these come from this left side. Now the movement from the center starts because in the beginning, left side is our past, present past, then the past of this life, past of other lives. It goes into the second line, which we say that in the resonance it passes to the second line, which is coming from the past, we can say the subconscious mind. Then beyond that, subconscious mind is an area which is called as collective subconscious. If you have read Jung, he has dealt with it. When we talk of science, we have to read all the people. We cannot just read some single fellow and start talking about it. Jung is a psychologist who was a disciple of Freud and who deviated from him, and he has talked about collective subconscious. This collective subconscious has everything within us since our creation. Now, whatever I am telling you, I would not expect you to believe me, not at all. You must keep your minds open, like a scientist. But if these things are proved, then you have to accept. This is a hypothesis for you, but later on you must accept it. Now, the collective subconscious mind is beyond us. And that collective conscious mind has everything that was created since our creation. And now for that, I must say that the doctors in the West have discovered that the cancer is triggered by some proteins which come to us from the area which was created in our past since the creation was created. So they have reached that much point. They have reached up to a point, you see. We must say whatever they have reached, they have even photographed those proteins. Now those dead souls that are there are dead, many things that have gone out of circulation of our evolution, like the dead animals, we can say, the dead vegetables. Now viruses are nothing but certain dead vegetables, or could be some small animals which have gone out of our circulation. Now how do we cure this? what we have to do is to, if your attention goes towards left side too much, then you get caught up into these problems. But if you can somehow or other bring your attention to the center, then you are away from it. That's simple as that. So these are left-sided problems. You can get epilepsy, you can get depression, you can get also so many psychosomatic diseases are also triggered by it. Like we have myelitis where the muscles are getting strengthless and all that. All these can be, all of them can be sorted out if you can bring your attention from left to right. It's as simple as that. Now the another area is what we call as supraconscious. Now supraconscious area lies on our right side. That is the area which deals with our future. Now all futuristic people deal with it because it is mental. Mental, you see, English word is very funny. Bauddhik as they call it. In English, you see, as it is, has its own limitations, I must say. Because in English, Atma is spirit. Bhut is a spirit. Alcohol is a spirit. I mean, but in Marathi language, you will find every shade of everything as different. So you can say Bauddhik. Bauddhik and physical side. On the right-hand side, you deal and you get your nourishment or you get all your energy from the right side, which is called as Pingala Nadi, as Surya. So the sun line on the right-hand side does that. But they cross over. And once they cross over, one goes to the right and one goes to the left. And that's how you have two lobes in the brain. Brain is not one, it has two lobes, absolutely two separate lobes. So if you are using only one lobe on one side, the another side gets weaker. If you are using this lobe too much, then the another side gets weaker. So what you have to have for that is a balance. Now these days you must have heard that there's a lot of people who are dying of tensions, overactivity, all kinds of problems they have because of the pressures of life, the speed of life. And nowadays, as I told before also in America when I went, I told them about AIDS, long time back. I told them that you will get AIDS also. And then now I have told them another disease that will come, that you cannot do anything with a conscious mind, but you can do it in an unconscious way. Supposing you want to walk, you will get up and walk. But if you want to walk, you cannot do it. Because you have used too much of your conscious mind. And it's already coming up. In America, it's already started. I have not given it a name. But what is it called, doctor?
Post-viral syndrome, Yuppie's disease, all the
Yuppie's disease. See. All right. This is Dr. Bagdan from Russia. Is here. And we have Dr. Spiro from England. We have Dr. Pepe from Spain. We have Dr. Chuk from Delhi. He is the one. You know, epi disease is such that it is like if you want to do something, you can't do it. Supposing I have to lift this glass, unconsciously I lift it. Huh? But if I want to do it consciously, I cannot do it. It is already settling down. About 3-4 years back I talked about it, it's already there. Also another disease, I said that they will suffer from overactivity. They don't know what to do with themselves. Overactivity. It's a syndrome. All right. So on the right-hand side, if you are too much, say you are very futuristic, you are extremely particular about time and you are very particular about everything and systematic. Because you see, after all, now as it is, we are trying to systematize ourselves. So after all, we are human beings. We are not machines. So we should not try to become machines. And once we try to become machines, it tells upon our body. But this is a very delicate body. It's a very delicate thing. And then it acts and it gives you, for example, many people get heart attacks. Is to say that only with fat you get heart attacks is wrong. There are two types of heart attacks. One is due to the lethargic heart, where you get angina. That comes if you have this center obliterated, you get angina, and that's how the heart cannot act, is a lethargic heart. And another heart attack comes to people who are work alcoholics, who are over hardworking, who are exerting too much pressure, right side, so the left side you get a heart attack. So this is another type of a heart attack. Now, definitely we have cured. Sahajyoga has cured, definitely has cured heart people. Many like him. He's not the only case. And in your Pune only I have cured many people of heart troubles, no doubt. But I shouldn't say I have cured, because actually your Kundalini has done the job. Only thing is in my presence it rises fast, that's all. Now for this, how can you charge anyone? It is a living process. Kundalini rising is the living evolutionary process. We have come up to a point of human awareness. Now first what I told you, that we do not know the absolute truth, because at human level what we can do is to project our mind, that's all. The projection of our mind is linear and it cannot be sustained. It has to be sustained, and that's why whatever we think may not be all right, may curl back upon us and may trouble us. That's why science. Now, they have problems, acid rain, they have plastic problem, this problem, that problem. Out of the way they have gone into extremes. So to balance it, there is no other force. But once you get your spiritual awakening, then you become a balanced personality. Then you know how far to go with anything. We are not for machineries, but machinery is for us. Now it is working the other way around. We have become slaves of machines, not in this country yet, but in other countries, machines are dominating. And we have to learn from them. Whatever they are suffering, we should learn from them. Instead of that, if we blindly follow them, then we'll be in trouble. Now, so the right-sided people who are there are aggressive by nature. They are very aggressive. By the left-sided are sly. But right-sided people are extremely aggressive. They may be very ascetic type, maybe very systematic. So the one side we can say the brain develops, another side the heart develops. But up to a point. Supposing a person is very right-sided person, he may end up with a paralysis. Quite possible. Easily, he can end up with a paralysis, he can get a heart attack, he can get diabetes. There are so many diseases which are connected with the right side. For that I know you are not medical people, but you don't mind if I tell you the truth about it a little bit. It's very easy to understand. We have a center called Swadhisthana Chakra, which comes out of the Nabhi Chakra. Now this center, the Swadhisthana Chakra center, what does it do? It converts the fat cells for the use of the brain. Fat cells for the use of the brain. Now, medically it is never written anywhere, because I have done medicine, I know it's not written anywhere. Also they know. But we can find out how we have cured blood cancer. Now what happens that when this Swadhisthana Chakra is working too hard, supposing you are thinking too much, then you are using your grey cells. And what is replacing those grey cells? There's nothing to replace it. So what happens that this chakra, poor thing, has to work very hard to convert them into grey cells. As a result, it has other works to be done which are left out. Like he cannot look after your liver, then your pancreas, then your kidneys, and especially your spleen and part of your intestines. It has to look after. All these things are neglected. Now we have 2 cases here of blood cancer, luckily, who have been cured completely. Now both of them are architects, very hard-working, successful architects. And what has happened with them is this, that they were working very hard and using all their energy for their brain, neglecting their spleen. And all such people are also very hectic. Now what is the spleen? Spleen is a speedometer within us. It's a speedometer. So there has to be rhythm in our life. If there is no rhythm, now somebody gets up early in the morning, then reads the newspaper. I shouldn't say something wrong, newspaper, but mostly the news is very shocking. You see, I read it after taking breakfast. But if you read it before taking breakfast, you can get a shock. So it's better to read it after. Now you read a newspaper, emergency set in within you. So the spleen starts working. Now the shock has come. Some sort of shock, you get it. It's good. I mean, after all, you have to inform people about it. But early in the morning is too much sometimes, I think. So it could be read little later or in the evening, if it is possible, will be a good idea, because it will soothe you down. So what happens? Your spleen starts working very hard. All right, some people are not so sensitive, but some are very. Then you are going, say, there's a jam on the way, you are worried, you can't reach the office, and then you reach the office in another mess, and there is a boss shouting at you. Or you are doing some work, like these architects are working hard, they have to go to reach some place, somebody is going to come from here. All kinds of problems in the head, thinking about it all the time, how am I going to reach, what am I going to do? As a result of this hectic habit, this poor speedometer gets upset. It doesn't understand what's the matter with this gentleman. Why is he going so hectic? They won't even take their breakfast at home, they'll eat it on the way, or the poor wife would be shouting, and all sorts of things happen in these modern times. So, this hecticness on the spleen causes the vulnerability to blood cancer. And somehow some shock from the left side comes on them, it triggers it. And both of them were told that you are going to die within one month's time. It's now 5-6 years, they are still kicking well and doing their work. So now what happens with Kundalini? That when she rises, she nourishes those centers. Now see, this is a center in between, this is the left side and right side. So they just go like this. You see, if you use one more or one more, they go like this. There's no space. So this Kundalini slowly comes up and she puts them right like that. Then she nourishes them. So the parasympathetic energy is also put in it, and such a person gets all right. It's the easiest thing, but easiest thing people don't understand. But you must know that most of the vital things are the easiest. They have to be. Like we breathe, so easily we breathe. If you have to read books and go to something else and then breathe, how many are we going to survive? So it's so vital. It is so vital that we have to have Kundalini awakening in those days. It is so vital, so important that it works, and works very fast. Because after all, our Creator is worried about us. He is not going to destroy us. He is not going to allow us to get destroyed by our madness of modern life. He is going to look after us. And so the Kundalini works very fast, and we are getting thousands and thousands of people realize. By this, firstly, I would say that there was a doctor, Sethi doctor from Lady Harding College. He took up and he has proved that physical fitness improves tremendously by Sahajyog. And he got MD. Now to say in such an irresponsible way that we are making people weak is absolutely wrong and extremely irresponsible. Now this is for the kalyana of the world. This is for everybody's benevolence. While if you are interested in the benevolence of yourself, of your country, of your children, you all should take to Sahajyoga seriously. It's very important. If you are thinking about that. Now, this thing is not so easy to explain to the Western people because their minds are different. But they have accepted me much more than Indians have accepted in a way, intelligentsia. Because their intelligence has reached the end of it. Their scientists have reached the end of it. So they want to turn back and see what is in other areas. They want to see the other areas. And they think India is the place. But when they come here, they just go back. They say, this is another New York, this is another. They don't find that knowledge Or else we have got lots of these false gurus about which I have told everybody's name I took in 1970. And I told all of them are false gurus. And all these things that are called as blind faith, I am absolutely against it. Not only that, but I have flouted it. In every country I have done that. But first, you must have divine discretion. Otherwise, how can you say something is false or something is not? You must have divine discretion. That's why I said only a self-realized person can do it. Now we come to the second point, where people say whether there is ghost or not, or bhoot or not. There is, I say. That is nothing but as I told you, the proteins which are in the collective subconscious mind. And they attack people. This is a soul. It has got 7 loops. And we too have a soul which has got 7 loops. Now the proof of this is in many ways. In the West, I don't think people have traveled much, so they don't know. But the other day they showed us a film about a gentleman on whom a Gauguin, you must have heard his name, he's a great painter, famous painter, Gauguin, who died as a madman. Came onto him, this fellow, and he started painting like him, his sunflowers and all that, with such a mastery. And he said, I am Gauguin. He came for a short time. He said, I am Gauguin, I have possessed him. There are so many cases like that. People are having research centers, things to find out what are these phenomena. They have not just discarded it as wrong. Of course, there are people who make money out of everything. But that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It is there. Those people who get possessed. Yesterday only there was an old man sitting before me. And he said, you just, mother, do some work on me. And when it worked out, he said, I hope by this, Mala dharlela soden, I am possessed, I hope it will. You do get possessed. And that is what these gurus are using. They mesmerize you, means mesmerism is nothing but possession. They possess you. Because of that possession, people start giving all their money, everything to them. So just to say they do not exist, you are actually supporting all these people. Now, the scientific proof of it. I will tell you the scientific proof. You see, when you get your realization, you see in the sky, small little commas, shining commas like that, easily. Especially in India. It's a very great country you are living in. It's a yoga bhumi, no doubt about it. Even Christ came here and lived here. So it's a very great country. And also you see sometimes loops. Sometimes one loop, sometimes many loops put together. I told them that these spirits have loops, and once they sit on you, they start acting on you and troubling you. Now we have here Dr. Misra, who is a very great scientist from America. They are open-minded Indians, I would say, because once they went abroad, they saw that how we have to expand our minds. And he has told me that they have already found out those loops within ourselves. I said that. I had also told them that it sits on our back, our soul, and it is reflected on our cells, on a receptor. Now they have found out. It's there, 7 loops. They cannot explain what the 7 loops are. So just to discard something because it is Indian or so-called unscientific is not a very proper idea. Most of these things will look unscientific. But whatever science has found out, there could be something beyond it. Even Einstein has said that I was trying to find the theory of relativity, but from somewhere unknown. The whole knowledge of relativity dawned upon me. Now, he was a realized soul. Newton was a realized soul. Abraham Lincoln was a realized soul. You can see from the way. Even Gorbachev is a realized soul. That's why they have recognized us. So now the second point is about Jnaneshwara. We are not spokesmen for Jnaneshwara. But I'll tell you, our Indian books have no sort of a copyright. Any one of them have no copyright. Anybody can change anything, do what they like, put anything. The Jnaneshwari I read in my childhood hasn't got all these things written in it. But one fellow was sitting before me with his legs towards me, so everybody said, you can't sit like this towards mother. So he said, no, but if I sit cross-legged, I'll start jumping like a frog. So I called him, I said, why should you jump like a frog? He said, in my Ganeshwari, it is written, now he said, my guru has told me that you'll jump like a frog. All right. And where did you read that? In the Ganeshwari. The guru had written the Ganeshwari, in that he had written, you'll jump like a frog. Now, I asked him, are you going to become a frog or an earthworm after this? So, we have to see to all others, especially Ganeshwara's Pasaidan. आहे का तुमच्याकडे लिहिलेलं आहे Pasaidan? हां, म्हणून दाखव. You just see, that is exactly what Sahajyoga is. And how could such a man write all these things? He cannot. What is the use of flying in the air? What is the use of walking on the water? Of course, Christ did walk. I know that. Why he walked also I know. But what is the use today? Pasaidan. This is exactly what is Sahajyoga is. He described it. Now please, I don't know, all of you don't understand Marathi, but it's absolutely clear. Yeah.
All understand Marathi.
You understand Marathi? All right. वाचा. आता हे बघा, अगदी सहयोग आहे बघा संबंध. पसायदान म्हणजे व्हायब्रेशन्स देणे. चैतन्य, हां बोला.
आता विश्वात्मके देवे तेणे वाग यज्ञे तोषावे तोषोनी मज द्यावे पसायदान आहे.
He says that the spirit of the whole Vishwa should get now be satisfied with me because I have done this Vani Yajna, and he should give me the Pasaidan. This is the Dan, is the vibrations, this Chaitanya Lahari.
जे खळांची व्यंकटी सांडो
Khalanchi means the people who are intriguer word आहे त्याला, intriguers. The intriguers should give up their intrigues.
तया सत्कर्मी रती वाळो.
They should become Satkarmi. They all have become. My husband says they have become angels.
भूता परस्परे पडो मैत्र जीवांचे.
Apap Satprem. They should have love for each other. Now you'll be surprised if I tell you, here we have 36 nations, and there are Indians of all status, of all types here. But the way they love each other is so remarkable that I am myself sometimes so much surprised at their love. How they support each other, how they look after themselves. But the most remarkable thing was then when I went to Russia, 25 Germans came there and gave them realization. 2 Russians. And looked after them. This is love. This is real love. पुढे बोला.
दुरिताचे तिमिर जावो.
दुरितांचे तिमिर जावो. The darkness of ignorance should go away.
विश्व स्वधर्म सूर्ये पाहो.
Vishwa, the whole universe must see the Swadharma. Even Shivaji has talked about Swadharma. Swa is your Atma. Now you'll be surprised that in America, Vishwa Nirmala Dharma has been accepted officially. We've got an official recognition by America. Of course, Russia has recognized us officially. But Vishwa Nirmala Dharma has been accepted by America.
जो जे वांछील तो ते लाहो प्राणी जातो.
Whatever you ask for, you will get it. It happens. You ask their experiences, they will tell you. But then your desires change. You don't ask for wrong things, your desires change.
वर्षत सकळ मंगळी ईश्वर निष्ठांची मांदी आली.
वा वा. तर समजलं का हे?
अनवरत भूमंडळी भेटतू भूता. चला कल्पतरूंचे
आरव. चला कल्पतरूंचे आरव. Kalpataru means the tree which gives you what you want, the desire it gives you. Now it is about the Sahajyogis. Arava means the great forest. Now come along, the forests which can give boons to people.
चेतना चिंतामणीचे गाव.
चिंतामणीचे गाव. पुढे
बोलतेचे अर्णव पियुषांचे.
बोलते जे अर्णव. Arnava means the sea. The sea of पियुषांचे म्हणजे अमृताचे अमरोजा the speaking, I mean, you know, Gyaneshwara is so great, his poetry is so great that to translate it also you kill it. त्यांचे काय म्हणता येईल
अमृताचे सागर बोलणारे अमृताचे सागर.
These are the oceans which are full of ambrosia and they are talking. पुढे
चंद्रमेचे अलांछन
चंद्रमेचे जे अलांछन
मार्तंडचे तापहीन.
Their description is that their faces are like the moon without any spots on them. लांछन नाही त्याला. आणि मार्तंड जे तापहीन, they are like sun without any heat in them. They are cooling.
ते सर्वाही सदा सज्जन सोयरे होत.
They are the relations. They become relations with each other. They have no other relations. They are relations. They sajjana. Such righteous people, they become the friends.
किंबहुना सर्वसुखी पूर्ण होनी तिन्ही लोकी भजिजो आदिपुरुषी अखंडित.
The whole world has to become one to respect the primordial master or the primordial being. He has said it. When he has said all these things, how can he say that you can fly in the air, you can do these nonsensical things? But I would say that at a certain stage, of course, there are drashtas, means the ones who are seers. I would say William Blake was one of them. Our Rabindra Babu was one of them. There were many drashtas, like as you must have read Gita and all those things where Sanjaya was a drashta. So that is, they are seers. They can see things before. But that's a different stage altogether. But this kind of thing is done by TM. They are promising you can fly in the air. Nobody gets after them. Now they have broken the bottoms of so many people and there are so many cases on them. They have taken thousands and crores of rupees, looted them, lynched them. I have got, I don't know if I have brought it with me, but the whole thing about them is so horrid. Their disciples had come to me and they were just shaking before me like this. And I have saved so many of them. And what mantras they gave, I'll tell you. For 300 pounds, they give a mantra called Inga, Pinga and Tinga. You all know what it means. And secretly, you have to go through 7 rooms, reach the 7th room, there's some sort of a guru is sitting and he gives these mantras for 300 pounds. 6,000 pounds he charges, 300 pounds. And 6,000 pounds they had charged. We have the husband of one of them, Dr. Spyro. His wife, she was really mad when she came to. 6,000 pounds they charge for going to their courses. 6,000 pounds. And in the courses, what do they give you to eat? Is for 6 days, they give you the water which has boiled lots of potatoes. Then they give you the rind of the potatoes and then the potatoes. And they said you must thin down if you have to fly in there. And people are so mad because there is money, they go to him. And they always tell me, Mother, you don't ask for money, that's why nobody comes to me. I said, I'm very happy. Such people are not going to be anywhere. Up to this point that BBC people came to me and they said, nobody can understand anything without money. I said, then what do they understand? He said, we are Anglo-Saxon brains, and Anglo-Saxon brains cannot understand anything without money. I said, who has made the brains, God or somebody else?